there! Sunday noon and we are back with testing. Does that make you feel better, Michu? Yeah, I guess recording fuels me up the most. A test that should have been there from the start on this channel. What if you want to make some damage to a neighbor and pour sugar into the tank? Some say it will seize the engine up, others say don't do that. It's all over the forums. You have great automotive websites that used to have Pepper editions and they make tests to check this thing out. Later on we will see how adequate these tests are. Once in the Smash or Trash series, you sent me a picture, maybe it was a meme, a joke or something. Somebody was saying that sugar in the tank gives more power. This thing deserves a test, a diligent one, made in stages. The first stage is the essential. Take the engine apart and see the inside, so that later we know what we actually did. Check it out. The protagonist of this episode is the already famous Fiesta with holes drilled in connecting rods. I hope it won't falsify the test results and I hope the engine survives, because we would like to finally finish the episode where we light in the flywheel. If it doesn't survive, well, we'll buy another wreck. Just so you know how deluxe it is, we have half a tank of fuel or even less. If we fill up more, it overflows because someone used to only fill up for $10. So, I will use 1 kilogram of sugar, or maybe 2 kilograms of sugar. Okay, deluxe it is. Let's have 3 kilograms of sugar. First thing, application. First I will try it in the thug way, like a real neighbor would do, meaning, come Stasiu, let's take a walk. We can already point one thing out. We can open the lid, okay, but without a key, it ain't gonna be easy. Luckily I have a key here. Now a screwdriver, a funnel, and we try to put sugar in. Same situation as in the BMW intake. I push the funnel in and it springs out. What is this plate for? Wise engineering, Fiesta. Look, sand is coming out.
A few minutes later.
Never do this at home. It works. Less than half a kilogram in and it doesn't go in anymore. Something is stuck. I knew it would happen. We are ready for all scenarios. What happened here, Stasiu? It got a little stuck. All right. We have to pour some petrol. You think it's easy to pour sugar in there? I had to get rid of the excess.
Znaczy się stało.
Did this just happen?
O,
Well done.
robota.
It's all going to dissolve soon. I think I have to wiggle with a screwdriver.
Zarąbiście.
Okay, going down. Awesome. That's nice, see? Bubbling and going down. Okay, change of strategy. Let's see how sugar dissolves in petrol. I will fill a bottle with petrol, pour a certain amount of sugar in, stir it nicely and pour into the tank. Like a goddamn pharmacist. I will clean it up, don't look at me like that. He's giving me this baleful look, like he's looking at some moron who's never... I will pour some more in on the ground. I want to pour more in, but we need to see how it mixes. So, let's get the petrol. There's a little oil in the petrol, maybe half a liter. One lady has flooded our replacement car. Go for it. Let's see how much there is in the funnel. Okay, a bit more.
Widzisz, cukier tłucze.
Sugar's still soaking here. All right. No dirty thoughts. Where's the cup? A dissolution competition. What dissolves first, the bottle or the sugar?
Cukier.
I wouldn't say sugar dissolves too well in petrol. It's like a slush. So if you want to be mean to your neighbor, already on this stage, we can tell we won't be able to put too much sugar in.
Ile tam wejdzie na tak patrzę.
Even if you push down the flap with a stick, if it's a petrol engine, then what, half a kilogram?
To pół kilo?
It looks like sugar doesn't dissolve in petrol at all. Okay, let's pour what we have. Give me the funnel, boys. How do we get it out now? No way.
Cokolwiek wyleciało. No i... No nie. Cie.
Looks like it's going to be funny today. The hole got clogged.
O, tu jest dziurka.
There is the hole.
Wam
It's
wyczyn
not
będzie
gonna be easy
zaaplikować
to
do
put
tego
it in the
banku.
tank. Maybe I can think of something.
A nie,
Let's
leci
try
cały
from
czas.
the other side.
Zobacz, Stasiu, co tu się
Still going. Look what's happening here.
Spokojnie.
Easy. Don't do this at home.
Domu. O nie.
Does anybody have a light? It's still the first kilogram. I wonder how those journalists put it in, because there was a test like this somewhere. Just get in there. The flap is gone, stop that. Let's wash it down with petrol. This is lame.
Żeby nie było.
Just FYI, there's no flap.
Klapki nie ma.
I will rinse it with alcohol now. Seriously, freshly opened.
Otworzyłem. Bo fantazja jest od tego.
As far as I know, sugar should dissolve in booze.
Znaczy, nie wiem,
I don't know how I know it. I'm just guessing. Did you see that? The whole bogger went down. It should all clear soon. This whole hose rubber probably must have got congested. If it doesn't clear, we will put some pressure on it. Hi, MacGyver. We'll need to go through the pump. Can somebody tell me how these people pour sugar in the tank in this test? It's stuck.
Panie, dzwoń pan hydraulik.
Better call a plumber with a cleaning rod. Wait, no, it's going deeper. A pipe cleaning spiral. I don't have one on me. 25 minutes. The rod goes in, but still doesn't unclog it. We are going to get a lesson now. Let me check if it goes through. Yeah, sure.
Pewnie. Yeah.
What have you done? Okay, I think we'll need to take the car apart and apply it directly to the tank through the boots. Something went wrong. The problem turned out to be simpler than we would thought. What happens when you pour sugar in? It all rests here. We have to tear these pipes down. I mean, we'll remove them and go directly into the tank. But if I wanted to do some damage to my neighbor, I would prefer to mix it with alcohol. I poured this much and it's dissolved already. See? We will mix it well and get it in through there. It's completely stuck. I think a tiny amount of sugar went in with petrol and then it just clogged. So we'll go straight into the tank. We have 1.5 kilogram mixed in already. Kuba has a proper gear for it. Show them. No dirty thoughts. Who thought it first? Cameraman says, enema. Way to go, Stasiu. Liquor. Okay, I want to put a whole 1 kilogram in here. I will sacrifice some of my booze. All in. We've had sawdust in the gearbox. Remember that? We've had honey in the motor, so we can have sugar in the tank too. I don't think anybody would go to such lengths for the neighbor, but I want to be diligent. For the sake of the experiment. Some even said it boosts up the power. Did you see that? We have to dilute it. Look, it just won't mix with petrol. Dilute some more. 2 kilograms inside. It's not like it's 1 hour later. We've got a problem. There was very little fuel inside. We poured 2 kilograms of sugar to how much petrol? Oh boy. Let's reset the counter. Time for a ride. Come on, Stasiu. Listen up, we are starting a ride. It's 1 p.m. 170,657. Not for the first time, surely. I always feel good in big cars like this. The power boost theory? I don't know. I would have to take it to an engine test stand. Okay, I will spare you the drive. We'll just see how many kilometers it makes. $141.3 kilometers and nothing happens. How is that possible? But the neighbor wants, but this, but that. As I said at the beginning of this episode, we took out the cylinder head, we took pictures. Let's see what happens. We will just waste a few hours worth of the guy's work and that's it. The engine works as usually. There is no change really. Okay, no spoilers. See you later when I show you how it looks. Okay, another 2 hours have passed. The car was taken apart like before the test, save for the cylinder head gasket, some screws and a few other things. Doesn't matter. Let's start with the photos. Here is the before picture of the cylinder head and here is the picture after. See any differences? Okay, Stasiu, let's make it first from the dividing line. That's the cylinder. Let's compare it with the other one. A little more detailed photo. And so on. Second, third, fourth. There's no fifth. Did it happen like it did in the American lawnmower experiment I didn't understand, which was so glorified by our automotive press? That's including both those virtual ones that used to have paper editions. I mean, those journalists tested it out, pouring sugar into the tank. Okay then, come here. Now, if a particle of sugar had got inside in some way and dissolved in there, it would go through with petrol. Not a crystal anymore, as it would have dissolved and gone down with the petrol. I think carbon would have separated due to oxygen deficiency during combustion, a byproduct of incomplete combustion. But I conducted another experiment at the same time, and it's been going on for 5 hours. In this bottle, there is alcohol. In this one, there is petrol. In this one, there is crude oil. There's the same amount of sugar in each of them. Where's the catch? The problem is that this episode shouldn't be done by me or by any pseudo-journalist, but guys from Sci-Fan or other nerds. Why? Because sugar is sucrose. Now, sucrose has around 10 hydroxy groups, thanks to which a sugar molecule is highly polar. Water is a polar solvent, petroleum is not. What's my point? We can dissolve sugar in alcohol or water, but not in petrol or diesel fuel. It's about the solvent's polarity. No matter how hard we try, we'll never dissolve sugar in petrol. Sure, sometimes there can be a little bit of water in the tank. How does it look in practice? We pour roughly the right amount of pure still water into petrol on the left side and to... Whoa, too much, you devil. A bit more here so that we see. We let it seep for 10 minutes. Since water is a great solvent of sugar, it's possible that a minimum amount of water in the tank dissolves a little bit of sugar, because the sugar will have gone down to the bottom. Can you imagine this amount of water in the tank, though? Where does the pump take the fuel from? The very bottom. So don't expect a big amount of water in your fuel to look like this. What's my point? The fuel travels from the pump going through 1 or 2 fuel filters. Now, in the case of sugar particles, if we zoom in, we will see large crystals. Small sugar particles may be what? 100 microns? 200? 300? That much? I once showed you that paint thickness is around 1.5 width of a sheet of paper. So this sugar has 100 to 300 microns. Fuel filter permeability in petrol engines is 10 microns max. So this particle, even if it goes through the pump, has no chance to get past the filter. In diesel engines, this filter gradation is even smaller. This means it's impossible for the sugar that has dropped down to the very bottom to have sufficient amount of water to dissolve. Otherwise, it would mean that you are driving on water. As a result, the only thing that can be damaged by a large amount of sugar is fuel pump at the very beginning, if the car is equipped with it. Next, the fuel filter will get all glued together and the vehicle will stop. I don't know why someone wrote an article lately about 3 kids who wanted to check whether sugar will do any damage, and the cost of damage was estimated to a few thousand. Theoretically, we might have a situation where the high-pressure circuit in diesel engines, if there was water inside. But again, water is the key, right? How much water would there have to be? The sugary water would be sucked in, which would damage the injectors. But picture all this. If you think that you did something bad to someone because you poured sugar into their tank, if you even managed to get more than half a kilogram inside, because it all clogs and swells and we had to put it directly into the tank. Believe me, the only damage you can do these days is to clog someone's fuel filter, or worst case scenario, to seize up the fuel pump. The experiment ends here, and so should all discussion. Because someone might say, but come on, there could be water in the fuel. But how much water can there actually be in the fuel? A minimal amount. Now, if sugar dissolves in this minimal amount of water and gets funneled to the combustion chamber, then the only side effect there will be is carbon. Soot, because the dissolved sugar particle has not burned out completely. In the case of a diesel engine, which runs on fuel with water, though I don't know how much water there can be. It could maybe damage the injectors, if they are very fragile. But I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to get into it because this amount of fuel is absurd in my view. I had to mix 2 liters of good booze into 10 liters of fuel. 1.5 liters of good booze for 2 kilograms of sugar. What happens when we add alcohol to petrol? Look how well it dissociated. Beautiful. I mean, the car won't go on water alone. See this? It is possible that after adding this mixture of sugar and water, the pump took mostly alcohol with sugar alone. And I poured more than 2 liters in total, if not 3. But I made 150 kilometers and it didn't do any visible damage. I read all those forums. People got into their heads that sugar in tank will cause some micro scratches and that once it gets in the combustion chamber, it will go all over the place in there. But it won't get in there. It will be stopped by the fuel filter. It's logical. If it dissolves, there may be more soot. But just see how many cases it made. I know it's an old car, but what happened? Nothing happened. You see how physics works. You surely take gas from time to time. You would know something was going on, because the sugar would be everywhere. Nobody would dissolve it in alcohol and waste booze like that. So, wading further into this, I think pouring sugar into the tank is downright stupid. Though you could make some harm to your neighbor if you add sugar to engine oil. In such case, it could all just glue together, because in high temperature... Okay, once again, a little experiment. Take a look. The gluing together thing with the oil is not entirely true either, but I will explain this in a minute. This is how caramel was invented. There is one important problem though. Sugar melts in around 180 degrees. Sure, it would mess the oil up pretty badly. It would glue it all together. But would it be that bad? We would need to check. It would surely be a short test. But let's see how badly it will stick. Already dry. I will heat it up a bit more. Let's see if it sticks. Not a healthy situation. Very gooey. Want a fudge, Stasiu? I think, and the crew and many other people agree, that nothing will happen. If you see that someone put sugar in your tank, it only means that person is a complete moron. The only problem you have is that you need to clean your fuel system as it might get stuck. That's it. You can take extra precautions in case you have 3 liters of water in the tank. If you drive on water, let me know in the comments. I would like to use this patent. I mean, water as a renewable energy source? I don't know. Okay, fellas, I hope you liked this episode.